What's up guys, Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is going to be a different video for me. I'm going to be showing you a Hydra billion damage team, or at least I hope I can show you that in today's video. And I'm basically going to be going over step by step how you can build that team. Now I will say, I did watch a video from a creator called Bronco. Shout out to Bronco, amazing creator. He's the original creator for this team composition. So, shout out to him. I built my champions not exactly the same. I'm 100% free to play. My gear is not as good as his. I can't do Merciless and Reflex. So I have to make do with what I've got. So hopefully in today's video, I'll be able to complete this 1 billion damage team, or at least get close to it. And I've never done it before, so I'm going to definitely have some trial and error issues. And I will say there's many ways you can mess up the run by just clicking the wrong heads or getting a 3% where you can't resist by 3% from the head of Mischief, I believe, that is stealing the buffs. And so, yeah, so you have to be really, really careful when you're fighting. Let me just go here really quickly. So it's going to be on Nightmare, by the way. This is the team composition. And when you are fighting, where is he at? The head of Mischief. He will attack an enemy with the most buffs and steals all the buffs from the target and steals 50% of the target's turn meter. So if you place too many buffs or misclick and you place too many buffs, say on one of your champions like YANNICA, who's the one who does the damage for your team, then your whole run is destroyed. If you get your buff stolen in the beginning, your whole run is destroyed. So you got to be really careful, and you will have to redo the run multiple times in some instances, or you get crazy lucky and you can make the run one time. So basically you're trying to hope that you never get 3%ed the entire run to get all your buffs stolen. If you're like all the way past, say, turn count, I don't know, 100, and you get your Wixwell buff stolen, or your Emic buff stolen, or even your Tatora buff stolen, or even this chick's buff stolen, it's not a big deal, because in the end, you want to make sure that the biggest shield is on YANNICA. If YANNICA still has the shield and the Mischief head steals it, that's where the damage is coming from, okay? Because the Mischief head's going to spread it, and then hopefully you're just going to get the billion damage. I did try it, and after like 120 runs, 120 turns, I did try to pop and explode, but I only hit like 60 million. So I might need to just go way more turns than that. So let's do this. I'm going to take myself off cam. Well, maybe I'll talk a little bit about the beginning setup. Now I do have a team preset, but it's not full auto. So I don't know if I can get this to be full auto friendly. I could try. The issue is when Wixwell does an intercept buff, you don't want him to do intercept buff. I think you just want to do it on himself the first time and then never again. And then, like, I would recommend doing this as his opener and then don't use it again, unless you manually do it towards the end of the run just to explode. This is kind of how I would do it. And then with Anchorite like this. So Wixwell, take a look really quickly. Then you've got Anchorite. Here's the stats. Here's the preset. Tatora. Honestly, after Tatora utilizes both of these abilities, you don't need to worry about it ever again. You don't need to keep replacing it unless for some reason your buffs get stolen or you run out of the buff. But you're going to be extending with Anchorite, extending with Wixwell, so you should be fine. And then you're going to refresh with Emic, and to keep in mind, Naya always resets Emic. Tatora's here, so again, you don't have to use these abilities if they're going to keep getting extended on their own from the extenders. Then you got Naya. Here you go. Then you got YANNICA. She's just doing the A1 the entire time, and you have to manually do the judgment, Elven Judgment, when the time is right. So again, I've never done it at the right time. All right, or I sort of did, but way too early because the shield wasn't big enough. So I didn't hit a 900 million plus damage that people are hitting, or 600 million plus damage on Nightmare. I mean, just me hitting even 400 million would be the most ever. So like if she could even hit 300 million, that would be the most I've ever gotten on Nightmare. So I'll be extremely happy for that. So Emic is here as well. So also to keep in mind, you only need 70% crit rate on everybody or less. YANNICA is the main person that you want to worry about crit rate. I would just go 70%. You can go less as long as, I mean, I would try to get a crit if you can help it. So try to shoot for 70% if you can help it. If you can't, then just go with less. It's no big deal because you will get a increased crit rate on the Sacred Trust and increased crit damage, which is helpful. Of course, players that are super endgame are going to have better builds than me. So I have her in a shield set, by the way. Emic is here last. So he is 80,000 HP, 3,000 defense, 301 speed. That is also from the area bonuses. Keep in mind, he only needs to be around 280 speed, 281 speed. But if he's a little bit faster, it's better because he's going to get back around to Vine Quake and he's going to get back around to the taunt as much as possible. And you need to keep the taunt up always indefinitely, or else you're going to end up getting the buffs stolen, or somebody's going to get eaten rather. So if you don't have the taunt up indefinitely, then your Wixwell, Anchorite, somebody here is going to get eaten and it's over. So there's a lot of ways that you can fail this run. It's high risk, high reward. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take myself off. You guys can watch how I do this. I'll do just the first few turns. So like I said, I typically will start off. You can start off with the Vine Quake on the first one. It's not the end of the world because you don't need to worry too much about taunt right away. The taunt is there to make sure that this head right here, or one of the heads, does not eat one of the champions. Okay, that's the only thing that the taunt's there for. You just put a shield buff on everybody in the beginning with a shield set, and then you're not going to have to worry about anything else. So I typically go with this ability here first, but you can save it as well. I do this to increase the shields, but it's not necessary. Technically, you can just go with this and then reset everybody afterwards, and it'll be faster for you to get the shield growth. It doesn't really matter, just as long as in the end you're able to burst and blow everybody up. So we'll do it the way I set it up, with a taunt first, and then we'll go ahead and place the buffs. So basically you're placing all the buffs first, placing the buffs with this guy on Sacred Trust, Anchorite, and then with the Wixwell, you're just going to place the intercept on himself. Okay, so that way Wixwell has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buffs, and everybody else should have 9 in theory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I not count this right? 3, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 on this chick right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on Emic. So pretty much everybody is going to have less buffs than this guy right here in Wixwell. If they have more buffs, then this head right here of Mischief is going to attack those heads, regardless of if you have taunt, regardless of if you have any type of thing that's going to help. He's just going to attack the champion. Even if you have Veil or Perfect Veil, he's attacking the champion with the highest buffs. So that's why a lot of times people will make mistakes. And then this guy right here, you don't need to put Perfect Veil on right away. You can literally just do the block buffs. I don't recommend actually even using this ability. Now that I think about it, I need to change that. So so don't even copy what I just talked to you about for this guy Tatora in the team setup. You actually want to use this ability last so that you can place Perfect Veil on YANNICA if you want to explode right away if she's after him, or if she's before him. I did take the gear off of him, so maybe I utilize him in Sand Devil, so he's actually slower. So I might have to put boots on him to make sure he's faster. Let me free regroup really quickly, and we'll go right back in. It's gonna take me like 2 seconds. Don't click off the video. Subscribe to the channel, by the way. It really helps me out. Or at the very least, can you leave a like on the video? That would be super, super helpful, and I really appreciate that. So let me go to Tatora, wherever the heck he is. Too many champs. Let's go back to team preset. And we got Sand Devil and Hydra Billion. Hopefully it works. So it's literally just changing a boot to make him faster. So he was actually slow. So the preset team there was he was slower. So just keep that in mind. You have to change the gear around based on where you're going to be using him. I don't have multiple of copies of him, so no big deal. Let's go back into here really quick. Let's go back into the Nightmare Run. Here we go. And we'll start again. So just make sure everybody's good to go. So we're going to start off with the taunt ability. Then we will go ahead and do the block buffs and increase defense. We'll go ahead and place the ally protection and strengthen. We will go ahead and do the increased crit rate and crit damage. And then we can go ahead and do intercept buff on ourself. And then we're just going to A1 with YANNICA the entire time. And we hope to get resisting on this Head of Mischief with our Wixwell. And if the Head of Mischief decides to attack the Emic, then the Emic will also resist. So now we're going to go ahead and do this. We increase the shields and they like drop back down, which is kind of strange. But there we go. We're just going to keep A1ing. And then now we're going to go ahead and reset. So we're always resetting the Emic with Naya. Okay, so he's resetting. Why do I do that? So I can get the taunt back as soon as possible. And now this guy will never have to use, or in theory, should never have to use Sacred Trust again. Unless you get unlucky and the buffs drop off, then you can place the buffs on again and try to increase their duration. But again, I don't have Merciless 4-piece, and I don't have the reflex that I can go around on every single champion. So I have to make do with the gear that I have. I will show the gear at the end of the video. If all you want to do is look at the gear, go ahead and skip till the end. All right, so anywho's, that's going to be it. That's the setup. That's the first round. And now basically what we're doing is just refreshing the whole time after taunting. So there you go. There's the taunt again. And then we just keep going. All right, we want to basically keep on placing. We don't even need to use this one again unless, again, the buffs drop off. So we just A1 the rest of the time with him. We don't need to do this ability, Bark Flesh, anymore for her. So we can just A1 and A2 the rest of the time. And then he just A1s. And then hopefully we get back around to our ability here. So I do have a 2-turn intercept still on the Wixwell. So we can just A1. And then, see, he did attack the Emic this time because Emic now has more buffs than Wixwell. Emic has high resist, and Wixwell also has high resist, just in case Wixwell gets attacked or Emic gets attacked. So we're just A1ing, and then now we're going to refresh. And you got to be careful because sometimes he replaces the shields on people if you have a 1-turn shield on somebody. So you got to make sure you get lucky and get refreshes on your Wixwell and on your Anchorite so you can increase the duration. So Naya not having a shield is not the end of the world, so don't worry too much about that. She will drop shield. Other champions, like I said, like Tatora, who has a small shield now, not a big deal. They never attack Tatora. They never attack Naya. And they typically never attack Anchorite unless the buffs are higher on Anchorite, which he's usually not having the high buffs with shield. So if I make a mistake, it's mainly because of the 3%. So anywho's, I hope I explained that well enough. Feel free to leave comments down below. I'm happy to explain it in the comments section, but I'm going to go ahead and remove myself. This is going to be a long run. I'm going to try to fast forward it if I can for you and just go from there and wish me luck. And if you are watching, again, please consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more uploads. Thanks, guys. All right, so sadly we did lose this one because Naya died. We must have had our turn meter pushed back at some point, and Naya did not keep the buffs. All right, so taking a look at Naya here, I will say she doesn't have any masteries soaking up damage other than her ability here with ally protection. She's soaking up all the damage, and I just didn't get a turn in with Emic in time to place the ally protection again. So, or the unkillable. I'm not sure why it dropped off. We just didn't get a turn in time. So let's try this again, and we'll see what we can do. All right, so here's another loss because, of course, our Emic ended up getting his buff stolen with a 3%. Because of the 3%, we lose. So that was at turn count 49. So again, this could take you hours and hours and hours on end just to get one perfect run. But again, super high risk, super high reward. So let's keep going. All right, we're back. Extremely dedicated run, guys. This took me 33 minutes, manual clicking. We should have enough shields at this point. They're pretty stacked up. I can still see a sliver of green though, so it looks like we might do less damage than the content creators that I've watched do this on their channel. So, I mean, we'll see what happens here. So we want to do the big hit at some point. I definitely need to continue to do this though. You didn't steal it from her yet. Let's see. I might have to place intercept on her as well to make sure it gets stolen. Okay. So we're going to place intercept on her, and she should get the buff stolen in a second. Let's see what happens. Let's just A1. I gotta make sure he doesn't get the cloud, the silly cloud thing. The cloud will make us weak hit. We don't want that. So he just destroyed our turn meter as well. So he might get the cloud. So we might have to geez, that's not good. He's actually not attacking. That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buffs on him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buffs on her. So I do need to place more buffs with, what's her name? White Queen. Or no, not White Queen. Naya. So let's just keep doing this then. We'll wait for the clouds to go on, I guess, because he hasn't stolen, because I need one more buff on her. That's why he's not stealing. And I already have the increased defense, so I need to do the buff from Naya, because I never placed the ally protection on everybody with Naya in the beginning. So I think that you shouldn't put the ally protection. I think you should just wait until the end just because Naya takes way too much damage in my opinion, but I guess you could do it and make it work. It just depends on the RNG of the run. As you saw, Naya did die previously with the ally protection because she soaks up so much damage, and she just takes so much damage in general, it seems. She gets targeted a lot because she is, well, she's not even negative affinity, she's just void, so she does get targeted a ton though. So he is going to place, we were able to salvage it, but he is going to place the poison cloud, so I need to wait. So it's a good thing I'm waiting here. We can keep on doing the taunt. So we're at almost 300 turns, and these shields are disgustingly big, so we should hopefully be able to get this no problem. At least I think so. So now we're going to go ahead and do this. Continue to increase the shields. We still have how many turns? 3 turns on the veil, so we should be good there. Do this. Okay. Keep on resetting. Do this. So basically we just keep on resetting the Emic with Naya. We never got 3% at least this far, so far. Hopefully it doesn't happen. And now with Naya, so I'm going to increase shields again. And we're at 10 stacks of shield, so that should be enough. We have plenty of veils. We need Naya to take a turn here. I can do veils actually. I don't think I need to. Nah, let's not do that. Let's wait for Naya to place the ally protection. And now he should, in theory, go after my YANNICA. He's still not going after YANNICA, which is kind of strange. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buffs on YANNICA. Let's go ahead and just place the intercept on her again. Have her take a turn. Yeah, we have to make sure YANNICA gets her shield stolen. What's this going to do? Who's all debuffs? Increase cooldown. Yeah, so we're going to keep doing the cooldown. And do this some more. Okay, so he actually stole it from Anchorite, which should be fine. The shields are just about the same size. So we're going to keep doing this though. And he should spread in a second. So let's go ahead and increase the buff amount. And we have to wait with Naya or YANNICA until he buff spreads. So we have to do this. And stay with the A1s. He buff spread. We're going to go ahead and taunt again. We're going to go ahead. I can do ally protection, but I don't actually need to. A1. The buffs and everything are still there. Oh, this guy lost a buff. How come he didn't? Oh, because of this right here. That little shield. So we'll do less damage because of that, but I think we'll be okay. If I can just take a turn here with her. So here we go. So with her ability, attacks one enemy, places perfect veil on the champion. If it's critical, it grants an extra turn. So we don't need to do that. We're just going to target a green affinity. So currently we're at 6.3 million, 39 minutes in. It is a long run, but again, hopefully we actually do well here. 300 turns should be more than enough. Here we go. Boom. Ooh, we finally did it, baby. We finally did it. We hit just about 1 billion damage, baby. Let's go. And we can keep going, by the way. We can keep going. So that's the thing, is I think I'm going to keep going and just see what happens. I'm going to see what happens. I mean, might as well, right? 972 million damage times 4 because it's Nightmare. This is the craziest thing I've ever done. Man, drop a like on the video, please. That would be so helpful. Please subscribe to the channel. Give me some love in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Anybody can do it if you're free to play and have these champions. There can be a bunch of champions that you can swap out as well. Feel free to ask in the comments down below. I will be able to talk to you about it. You can even join the Discord in the description down below. But we're going to keep going here and see if we can set it up again I wish that this head right here, the head of mischief, stole the buffs from YANNICA, but he didn't, which I'm extremely surprised about. So we're going to go ahead and start placing buffs again and just retry, basically. We're going to see if we can do it again. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to find out. And maybe we can do even more damage again. I don't know for sure. I mean, we can do damage into this dude as well, but I don't want to keep granting an extra turn, so we're just going to A1. And we're going to keep going and see how much damage I can actually get with this team. So I'll be right back. Just watch the rest of this for you guys. Yeah, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. All right, here we go. Round 2, baby. Can we get more damage? Can we get more damage or what? Can we do it insane damage here again? Let's see. He did eat our Wixwell, but he doesn't have the unkillable, so we should be able to, in theory, kill this head right here of Torment by targeting this one. Here we go. Boom. Oh my god! 2.2 billion damage! We got Wixwell back! Oh my god, boys and girls! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can we do it again? We'll be right back. This is insane! Alright, y'all. So, it looks like we're gonna have to end it here. The reason being is because of the fact that the Head of Mischief did not pop out again. So I guess we'll take a measly 2.259 billion damage, baby. Free to play. The craziest damage I've ever done in this entire game on Hydra. Here you go. This is insane. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that, y'all. This is insane. This is insane. You know, let's just do this one more time. You know, might as well. Boom. There you go. We got another 60,000 because the shield's not big enough. So nice. This is actually insane. Oh my goodness gracious. Cannot believe it. We'll go ahead and end the battle there. This is wild. I need to take a screenshot of this. Oh my gosh. I definitely need to take a screenshot. This is insane. This is actually insane. I cannot believe this, dude. Don't hit free regroup. Okay? Don't scare. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't, whoa. Be careful now. Be careful now. All right, let me take a picture of this real quick. Let me get a screenshot for the clan. And yeah, wow. Okay. I am at a loss for words here. We're going to finish the battle. 2.25 billion damage. Free to play. Anchorite, Wixwell, Tatora, Naya, YANNICA. 2.25 million from YANNICA. Emic, 2 million. Oh my god, this is absurdly crazy bonkers. 9 billion clash points, guys. 9 billion. But wait till I show you who we're facing. And then you'll be like, oh, okay. Whatever. Because everybody's using this team now. Everybody's doing it. At least a lot of the clans that we face. And I'm sick of getting crushed. So you know what? It's going to take about 1 hour to 3 hours of your time. Maybe even 4 hours. It's all based on RNG. That entire run, I did not get 3%. So I think this was a third or fourth run attempt. So in total, it took me about an hour and a half, close to an hour and a half, I'd say. Yeah, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to do this, okay? And my typical nightmare run is about 45 minutes to an hour. And it's way less than this. It's only about 100 million to 120 million. So comparing this to 120 million times 4 versus 9 billion or 2.25 billion times 4 is absolutely astronomical. Like this amount of damage beats clans. This amount of damage beats an entire clan. I just took down Nightmare Clan Boss for our entire clan. This is my clan. Dude, this is insane. If anybody wants to join, by the way, feel free. You know, I got 2 spots open, about to be 3 or 4 actually. But I've got, let's just say 4 spots open. Join the Discord. Definitely join the clan if you do pretty good in Nightmare, Hydra, and as well as CVC. So yeah, here we go. Let me just move myself out of the way. We've got Wixwell 2 million, Measly 2 million, Anchorite 435,000, 1 million on Tatora, 800,000 on Nia, 2.25 billion on YANNICA, 2 million on Emic. High risk, extremely legendary, godlike rewards. Let's go ahead and keep that result. Here we go. Okay. 2.25 billion damage. The best damage I've ever done, ever, right there. We destroyed Nightmare. We only beat it once in a while, Nightmare, but now we're going to beat it all the time. You know, and everybody's going to get double rewards. I'm giving myself a little pat on the back there. There we go. So we did it. And now, like I said, I wouldn't recommend for this team, billion damage here. This is for Nightmare, like I said. I would not recommend utilizing Codex. You want to manual the Codex. Anchorite, Sacred Trust one time, and then you're just going to extend it the whole time. Tatora, once you place Otherworldly Breach, you don't need to use it again. Once you place the Wings of Shell, actually, you don't even need to place Otherworldly. You just shut that off. You would place this and then don't place it again unless you want to manual it because you're running low on turns for some strange reason, like your turn meter got dropped. You only have 1 turn left on the increased defense and the block debuff buff, and you need to make sure you get it back on in time. Of course, you could get the mastery that could help with that, extending the buff potentially up to 3 turns. With her, you just want to do this ability every time on Emic. That's it. Do not put it on anybody else. Just put it on Emic. That's it. Okay? And then A1 the rest of the time. Because Emic, once you get that turn count for the person that's going to get digested and eaten by the Hydra heads, you want to make sure that she's always resetting Emic so he gets his ability back. YANNICA, just there to do the Elven Judgment manually at the end. I have never tried this. This is the first time I've ever done this. So I have never tried this on auto, and I'm not even going to. Maybe I will. Maybe I will, just to free up some of my time until I get to the point where I can just, you know, manual the Elven Judgment, but maybe it'll take like 20 minutes instead of 45 to 50 minutes. But if not, then I'll just have to manual it. I'm not going to be able to do it every single week for the Hydra Clan Boss, but I'll do it when I have time. So right now I have time to do it. It's late at night. It's actually almost midnight at this point, so I'm going to be really tired tomorrow for work, but you know what? It was worth it. So Emic, he's going to do the Trunk Carts, Sanctuary, and then Vine Quake pretty much every single time. But in the beginning, you can do Vine Quake, but again, preferably you're going to want to do Trunk Arts, though. I did mention that probably you want to do Vine Quake first, but honestly, just do Trunk Heart first, and then do the Vine Quake. Just make sure you don't do Nia's ability for ally protection until the end when you're trying to have the boss target either YANNICA or Anchorite, as you saw. And I hit 972 million damage on the first hit, and then on the second hit, I hit even more. I hit 1.2 billion damage on the second hit because it got stolen from YANNICA the second time. And then I could have rebuilt it back up. If that head came out a third time, I could have had 12 billion plus damage. Would have been insane. So yeah, we'll go ahead and save that for future reference. And let's go ahead and showcase to you the gear. Oh, let me show to you the clan that we're fighting, by the way. Or clans. We're only in 3rd place, even though I did that. Like I said, look at all the other clans that do it. 28 billion, 28 billion, 16 billion. Just because I hit 2 keys. My hard key, only 129 million. Like, what the heck? Like, that's insane. And then my brutal key is probably going to only be like, I think I can hit maybe 150 million. So it'll be times 3. So that'll be 450 million. But again, it pales in comparison to this insane YANNICA team. This is what competes with Trunda, or at least somewhat competes. It's Trunda's still doing way more damage, as you can see. I mean, it's on hard mode. That's nothing. I'm surprised this guy only got 83 million. But this one right here, he is doing the... Actually, YANNICA seems to be doing more than Trunda. YANNICA is doing more than Trunda against these teams that we're fighting. So this Trunda is getting 684 million on hard. So again, that's not crazy. 1.86 billion though on brutal for getting the amount of damage they got, which is crazy. 621 million total. And then this one, 121 million on Nightmare. So this is kind of what I get on Nightmare typically with my team. So yeah, everybody's doing 2 billion a pop. It's kind of insane. 1 billion, 1 billion, 2 billion, you know, so yeah. So other clans are just going crazy. Is this the team that he's getting? No, everybody's using the YANNICA Wixwell team to get the multiple billions. So it looks like YANNICA Wixwell team is taking the spot, at least for all these fights. I forget, how many billions of damage can you get with Trunda? Is it like 100 billion or something like that? I could be wrong. I thought you could get like 100 billion damage. Maybe I'm wrong. Leave it in the comments down below. So let's go ahead and showcase to you the team here. All right, so Emic is the first one up. So this Emic is used in multiple places for me. So he's in a shield set. It's not even fully upgraded. He is at stats 77,000 HP, 3,000 defense, 281 speed, and 444 resistance. Don't forget, I do also have Hydra battles for area bonus because I do a lot of live arena, but you don't need these stats unless you're just trying to resist. You probably need around 450 resistance, and that's what I have even without the area bonus. But obviously having more stats is going to be better than having less stats because you're going to be able to take more turns with Emic, and if I get my turn meter decreased, it's not going to affect Emic at all for placing the A3, which is the taunt. So 524 on the resistance, 301 speed with the area bonus, 79,000 HP, 3,000 defense. Again, room for growth here. We can upgrade a lot of these gear pieces. I do recommend, if you're having troubles with speed, try to get a perception set if you can help it. And then, you know, you want to farm Sand Devil. I can get more speed with glyphs as well if I wanted to, but it's not necessary. This one did get a quad roll speed today. So I keep getting quad roll speeds, but not on speed gear. I get it on offset random pieces for like the least used sets in the game. At least, well, now shield set is going to be one of the more used sets, specifically for Hydra, but not for PvP. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. This one I would want HP percent, HP percent, HP percent, because the shield in the beginning, if it's the bigger the shield is in the beginning, the faster you can grow the shield, which means the less time you're spending playing manual Hydra. It's just really frustrating. So with the masteries, I went with War Master on this guy. So there you go. If you want to copy them blindly, you can, but just be careful copying blindly. Obviously, you can change up your masteries. Honestly, masteries aren't even needed. You don't need accuracy, and you don't need the offensive tree at all. So even if you had no masteries, he's still going to work. But you do need books. So you need to have him fully booked. I would fully book at least the A2 and the A3. The A1 doesn't matter, but the A2 and A3 are required to be fully booked. You don't even need a blessing on him, but of course having a blessing is going to be more beneficial and impactful on your account. Next up, Wixwell, the man, the myth, the legend. This guy is insane. People did sleep on him a little bit. He was the community champion, all right? He was the one that everybody chose defense instead of offense. I kind of wanted him to be offense, but you know what? Now that I just did that 2.25 billion damage, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I finally got him out of the vault. He does not need full masteries. Really, the reality is you just want him to have some accuracy, some resist. Obviously, if you're just using him early game, you're probably not going to put this team together early game or mid game. You're going to put this team together late or end game, okay? And there are champions that you can replace in terms of Anchorite. And I don't know if you can replace White Dryad Nia, but you can also replace Tatora as well with champions. and there are quite a few you could potentially use. As long as the block debuff buff and the increased defense goes out, or at least a block debuff buff for 2 turns goes out on all allies, you should be good. So someone like maybe a Mausoleum Mage could potentially completely replace Tatora. You don't even need to put actually the Perfect Veil is also really important, because you want to try to put as many buffs on Yannica as possible so that she gets targeted towards the end there, but it's not required. Technically, Yannica can just do her A2, put Perfect Veil on herself, and then go into the A3. But if you can't hit the critical cap, which is 70%, and you're not getting a crit, I mean, you technically don't need to worry about getting a crit, but I feel like maybe you'll get more damage. I don't know. I could be wrong. You can leave it in the comments down below. But I just went with 70% crit. So that way, with the increased crit rate with Anchorite, it does 100% crit rate on my Yannica. And I don't think it's required, though. Like I said, I don't think it's required. I haven't tried it. This is the first time ever. And so I'm kind of learning as I go. So going back to Wixwell, I would fully book the A3 and the A2. Make sure that's done. You don't need a blessing, but it does help. Masteries, again, I already went over those with you. For the fact that this works is because I have a reflex set and an impulse set. Most endgame players, all right, so not me, I am endgame, but I'm not that endgame when it comes to having a merciless 4-piece set on like 2 or 3 or 4 champions for this. If he has a merciless set, it's 10 times better. I will explain briefly why. So with a merciless set, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get a percentage chance, 30% chance to decrease a random skill cooldown by 1 turn whenever he deals damage. That means every time he counterattacks. You saw how many times he counterattacks when he gets attacked in that fight, which means he's pretty much going to get this ability back, Tempest Knowledge, every single solitary turn, rather than waiting and having to do it once in a while every like 2 or 3 turns. Okay. But I also put refresh gear, 5-star gear. Just throw it on him. It doesn't matter what the stats are. It doesn't matter whatsoever what the stats are on this. Okay. You just need to be a little bit tanky, not too crazy, and then have some resistance, because he's going to be targeted. Him and Emic are going to get targeted. Those are the 2 that need to have high resist. This one has 445 resist, plus the Hydra battles area bonus. So he has over 500 resistance for Nightmare. So we can resist every time. And 50,000 HP, 3,400 defense, 263 speed. Without it, he's 243 speed, 445 resist. So again, reflex set is your best friend. Again, this is a damage piece reflex on him, even though like I did have a damage dealer on reflex before, but I decided to just take it off him because I'd rather do the Hydra billion. And I can always just go to preset and change it back to something different if I wanted to in the future. I absolutely love the presets. It's amazing. Again, impulse, amazing, because you have speed and a 12% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown. And because we're not really utilizing the Codex Interceptio until we're going to do the Elven Judgment with our Yannica, we can wait and never use this. So this is the ability that's always going to be taken off cooldown, especially when it's on a 3-turn. It's going to be off cooldown constantly. So yeah, I do think Merciless with Reflex is better. I just don't have the gear to do it. Next up, we've got Tatora. It really doesn't matter what Tatora's in for gear, to be honest. You just have to get under the speeds and decent HP. I would recommend putting Tatora in a shield set to get a bigger shield. So try to go for a shield set so you get the biggest shield possible at the start of the battle, and put at least 2 people in shield if you can help it. I've got my Emic and I've got my Yannica in shield set. Okay. So, but preferably I'd rather put Tatora. However, I do use Tatora in the Amius boss battle. So I can't really spread my gear too far. But Tatora, 82,000 HP, 4,200 defense, and 256 on the speed. And then in terms of masteries, you really don't need masteries on Tatora for this fight. You don't need any masteries at all. But you do need to have full books on the A2. A3 doesn't matter. A1 doesn't matter because, you know, it's just doing a regular damage. But you use this one time, and then you use this one at the end of the fight when you need it to get more buffs on specific champions you're trying to get targeted. Okay, that's that one. And then YANNICA, of course, I did fully book her today, so that way she can get back to her Elven Judgment faster and her Baffling Speed faster. Of course, I didn't mean to put all the books in her. I was doing one at a time, and of course, it ended up landing where this one ended up needing 2 books at the end, and these ones got completed first. So I just ended up throwing in all the books. Even though it's not during a CVC, I get it. I'm going to stack up more books over time with Clan Boss. So no big deal. This was really important to me, and I really wanted to do it. I think this is more important than saving till CVC to get a few thousand points. It's no big deal. So masteries, she is in damage masteries, although she doesn't need any masteries at all. So I can just stop making her masteries at this point. It's not even necessary, but I will end up upgrading her gear. And with her stats, she's at 37,000 HP, 4,500 attack, 232 speed, 70% crit rate, or 77, and then 150 crit damage almost. A little bit of accuracy, nothing crazy, not necessary though. And then, yeah, no blessing. On Naya, she's in a curse set. And then if we ever needed to target the head that is a weak affinity against YANNICA, if it's the Mischief head, then we could do curse set. So that way the Mischief head gets a hex and we can target Mischief head with YANNICA if needed. But it's probably not even going to be necessary. You really don't need a curse set on her, but it does help. It does spread more damage as well. So I would recommend it, but it's not necessary. So with her, I ended up going with 55,000 HP, 3,200 defense, 253 speed, 249 on the accuracy, no masteries, and then fully booked with cruelty. So we can do even more damage towards the end. With our Anchorite, he's the one who is also buff extending. Oh, and then the important part of her is she's always resetting Emic. Anchorite, buff extender by 1 turn. Very replaceable champion. If you just simply go here into your vault, you go to other effects, positive effects, and you want to do increased buff duration. You've got Lady Mikage. You've got this chick right here, Demitha. You've got this chick right here, Oella. You've got this chick right here, Lanicus. You've got this chick right here, Andresia, who also increases the duration of all... it's defense. Okay, never mind. Don't use Andresia. You've got Hellborn Sprite, a rare champion who can increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn and places an increased crit rate. So I would recommend just doing Hellborn Sprite if you can't utilize Anchorite because you don't have them. Very, very good champion replacement. So yeah, and then Indomitable Spirit, it's not necessary, but does help with increasing his HP and defense. No masteries, fully booked. Well, actually not fully booked on the A1, but these two, the A2 and the A3 are fully booked. HP in all battles as well, which is kind of nice, although I went with defense. And then I put him in Reflex. Again, another champion that you should go for Reflex and Merciless if you can get it. I can't. I just don't have the gear for it, as I'm endgame, but I'm not that endgame. All right, so there you have it. I was just going for defense, accuracy, attack, speed, accuracy. Like I said, you're seeing speed and accuracy pretty much everywhere, and that's all she wrote, y'all. Masteries, none, like I said. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. This was a long video. It took me a while to edit it. Please consider leaving a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you'd like to see next. Take care.